Welcome back, everybody. It's the Hot and Fuzzy again, bringing you the most honest gun reviews on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at a classic American firearm, the Marlin Model 60. Let's get started. The Marlin Model 60 is a semi-automatic tubular magazine-fed rifle chambered in .22 long rifle. The rifle came out in 1960 to replace the Marlin Model 99, hence the name. The rifle has went through several changes throughout the years to the magazine tube as well as different barrel lengths. The rifle we are looking at today has a 19-inch barrel and holds 14 rounds in the magazine, as well as a last round bolt hold open feature. This style of rifle came out in 1985. The rifle features a rail for mounting optics, whereas the earlier Model 99 was factory drilled and tapped for scope mounts, and featured a steel magazine tube, which was replaced by the Model 60's brass magazine tube. This helped prevent corrosion. The rifle has a 1 in 16 rifling twist rate and incorporates Marlin's patented micro-groove technology. This prevents deformation of the bullet when it goes down the barrel. The Marlin Model 60 is considered one of the most accurate out-of-the-box .22 LR rifles made and is a bestseller to this day. Now let me show you how to field strip this firearm. Field stripping the firearm is very easy. You just first want to make sure that the bolt is clear and there's no ammo in the gun. Next, you'll notice that there are two pins on the bottom parts of the gun, one behind the trigger guard and one in front of it, and these use a simple little hex key. And all you have to do is unscrew these and take out those little bolts. You can see it right there, pretty easy to take apart. Take out that last screw. Very, very simple. Whoops. The rifle is very, very easy to field strip and clean. You can basically get to all the parts on the inside of the gun by just doing this process right here. You really don't have to take it down any further than this. You can just spray your gun lubricant in there, swab it out, and you're good to go. You can see this pin right here. So unscrew it. There it is. All you have to do is lay the gun down and pull on the top of the receiver, and it should slide out nice and easily. You can see the guts of it there. Very, very simple construction. And to put it back together, all you have to do is reverse the process. So let's take this thing out and do a little bit of shooting with it. Alright, so now that I've showed you a little bit about the firearm, we're going to move on to a little bit of practical shooting. Got some beer cans set up over there. Don't worry, they're full of water. I wouldn't actually waste real beer. But I'm going to shoot a magazine here. Then I'm going to show you how to reload the firearm. You reload it just like any other tubular fed magazine .22. So let's get started. Oh yeah. Oh no, got away. Yeah. Alright, that's the last round, and as you can see, functions pretty well. The ammo I'm using right now is just some cheap Winchester 555 round bulk ammo. So what I've seen so far is that this gun will function with just about any type of .22 LR I put into it. Of course, you know, it's .22 LR only because it is a semi-automatic rifle. You can't fire shorts or .22 longs out of it like you can some other firearms that are tubular magazine fed. But I'm going to show you how to reload the firearm. You just have this little pin up here on the top. You rotate it and slide that magazine tube up. You see this little window right here. That's where you drop your rounds in. The gun will hold 14 rounds of .22 LR. And it's kind of neat. After 1959, when the Marlin Model 99 ceased production, they went to a brass magazine tube because that allowed you to be able to carry it in the field and not worry about corrosion. So I'm going to load a few rounds into here. Like I said, you just drop them in through that window up there. And it'll hold 14 rounds, like I said. Pretty reliable firearm. I've fired low velocity stuff, high velocity stuff. But once you get it all loaded, just slide that tube back down. seated in place in that little notch. And the gun actually has a bolt hold open. It'll hold the bolt on the last round fired open. And all you have to do once you load a magazine, you're gonna drop the bolt with this little lever right here, and then charge the weapon. All right, let's shoot a few more rounds. Oh, bad round. Remember, this is pretty cheap ammo. Move out to 100 yards. All right, that was all 14. As you can see, besides that one round not firing, remember, it's pretty cheap ammo, but it'll about function with just about every type of 22 ammo I've put through it. So now that you've seen how the rifle functions, let's move on to a 200-yard accuracy test. Let's get started. All right, guys, so now we're going to move on to grouping the rifle at 200 yards. I went ahead and set up a camera angle here to show the rifle and the target, because last time I did a 200-yard test with a 22, people thought it was fake. So I'm going to fire a 5-shot group of these 22 LR mini mags by CCI. One of my favorite rounds to shoot at long range with a 22 and just hunt and plink with in general. They're 36 grain, 1260 feet per second, copper plated hollow points. That target is all the way out there at 200 yards, and I'm going to see if I can hit it. I'll probably give it a good 15-inch hold high above the bullseye so that I can at least try to lob those in there. But I want to just showcase how accurate this rifle is. Once you get used to the trigger pull's a little bit heavy for a 22 like this, in my opinion. But the good thing about this gun is it has that micro groove 1 in 16 twist Marlin rifling inside of it. Really, really good solid rifling to get a good spin on that bullet without causing it to distort or damage the bullet as it goes down the barrel. So let's go ahead and get started and see if I can lob in 5 rounds at 200 yards. All right, let's see if I can do it. It's a long way away. All right, that's 5 shots. I'm gonna go ahead and walk up there, get the target, and bring it back here. Fast forward through that so you guys don't have to see me walk that whole distance. So I'm gonna go ahead and go up there, see how we did. Well, I tell you what, guys, that is an amazing result. I know some of you might not believe this, but I just went up there and grabbed the target and marked each shot. We got all 5 bullets on the paper, and one of them even hit the bullseye. That looks like maybe a 8-inch group at 200 yards. And you know, Marlin advertises this rifle as one of the most accurate out-of-the-box 22 rifles that you can get. And I think that's proven. I took a couple practice shots earlier to see how the drop would affect it at that far. So I held, if you're looking at the target, I held probably about here, and they were able to just lob in there, and that just shows, you know, that they weren't keyholing, they lobbed in there accurately. So the Marlin Model 60, very accurate out-of-the-box rifle. If you can get the trigger pull, you know, down pat, it's got a little bit of a heavy, blocky trigger pull, but once you get used to it, it's definitely not hard to get your shots placed where you want them to. So I think it's time for us to move on to a reliability test. Let's get started. Alright, so now that I've showed you the really good accuracy of this rifle, we're going to move on to a little bit of a reliability test here. I've got that Winchester 550 round bulk pack of ammunition. I'm going to fire 3 14-round magazines through this thing as fast as I can. I'll fast forward through the reloading process, but I'm going to see if it can cycle all those cheap rounds, you know, really well. So let's get started. Let's burn some ammo. Here we go. All right, that's 14. Flawless. Reload. All right, next 14. Here we go. All right, that's still flawless. Let's fire the last 14 and see how it does. This thing's starting to get a little hot. All right, last 14. Here we go. Can she do it? Flawless function, flawless function. Even with cheap ammo, I think it's getting a little bit hot. Even with cheap ammo, it was able to function flawlessly. So if it can shoot all of that pretty fast, I'd say that it can shoot just about anything that's over, 1,200 feet per second or supersonic. So let's wrap this video up, guys. All right, guys, so the Marlin Model 60. In conclusion, it's a really good rifle. I highly recommend it. This rifle has been in continuous production since 1960 and is one of the most commonly sold 22 LR firearms in the world. Very, very reliable. Has shot just about every type of ammo that I've ran through it. Old stuff, new stuff, and it's done great. Like I said, this is a really good rifle. As long as you can get past that trigger pull, a little bit stiff. And another problem, there's one negative to this rifle. It isn't like the Ruger 1022 where you have literally thousands and thousands of aftermarket accessories. I believe that really the only aftermarket accessories you can get for these guns are, of course, different stocks. They have Dragunov style stocks. You can get your wooden stocks, your walnut, and all that different stuff. It has a good scope mount on the top there. You can adjust, you can put a Weaver rail adapter on there and even put you an ACOG or something on top of one of these things if you wanted to. But me, I just opted for a 4-power Bushnell. You guys saw this on my Savage Model 64 video. But in conclusion, this is a really good rifle. I highly recommend it. Inexpensive. You can usually pick these things up for in the $150 price range if you look hard enough. And I highly recommend it. Like I said, I was really considering getting a Ruger 1022, but I wanted a rifle that I could take out in the brush with me and hunt with, and not have to worry about having spare magazines and stuff like that. This thing out of the factory holds more rounds than a Ruger 1022 does, unless you get the BX25 magazines for a Ruger 1022. But in conclusion, really good rifle. I highly recommend it. If you guys have any questions about this rifle, ask them down in the comments below, and really appreciate you guys watching this video. Have a good day.